Hey, what's up, Boneheads? Chicken Bone here, playing ARK Survival Evolved, and today I'm going to show you the building basics to building something amazing. And it's going to be awesome, guys. Now, this is something I want to do because a lot of you guys have commented over the past year, like, Chicken, can you do some basics, you know, like, how do you even achieve building on a slope like that, or, you know, making it look good like that, or making, you know, a house that's actually shaped really nicely. I've seen that question a lot. Like, people saying, hey Chicken, my houses always end up being cubes. Well, today we're building the start of the barn, and mainly we're going to go over foundation work, because that is the most important thing if you're building something. Remember that. Do your foundations right, and the rest of your house or barn or whatever garden, whatever you're building is gonna be fine. It's gonna be easy. It's just the foundation work that is kind of the rough part, because you need to know what you want. You need to imagine what it's gonna look like before you start building walls. That's my main rule. That's what I do. I did it with the house, and for the house I knew that and I'm gonna go on the balcony for this one. I want to show you guys properly this time. For the house, right? I showed you guys the foundation in the episode, but basically, I knew I was gonna want to follow this cliffside. Now, obviously, because the foundations have like a weird angle, and you can't really predict where it's gonna go, you know, there's gonna be little parts sticking out. And that is just how it is. But I started following the actual cliff right here. This is where I started my foundations. I made this corner here that fits perfectly on top of the cliff, and from there out you make the house in the shape you want it to be. Now, I knew I wanted a balcony on top of a balcony, so I'm standing on the top balcony, which is sitting on the bottom balcony. I knew I wanted that, so you have to keep in mind that that's going to cost you a lot of space, so your house is going to go smaller, and that's why I built the house. Oh, where am I? There we go. That's why I built the foundations of the house itself on top of what I wanted to be the balcony. So I built this. This balcony was 4 foundations wide, and this is the actual house shape I was building right here. It wasn't going to be huge because I didn't plan on building a big house. But then obviously when you when you start putting in walls, it's like, oh man, that's going to look great if I like push the balcony a little bit back like this, and you kind of figure it out along the way. But the main shape of the house was supposed to be right here, where this wall is sitting. It was supposed to be closed off. It's just these little things you don't figure out until you actually start building the house itself. But foundation-wise, you gotta keep everything in mind, especially room. Room is the most important thing. Now, for the barn, I want to have a space for every dino, with a little spot where it can stick its head outside. I want to be able to walk by and see all my dinos. Now, you can do this with door frames, you can do it with railings, you can do it with diagonal walls. I mean, you can do just anything, really. You can do it with pillars if you wanted to. But the main thing is you think about that before you start building. So what I do is I go and I get a dino, for example, get some walls, and let's say we're going to use railings, right? I'm going to grab some walls, and I'll grab a few foundations. These are straight, so I'm just going to use these, and I'm going to see, okay, how many foundations would I need for the average dino? Now, I happen to know it's probably just 1. For the really big dinos, maybe 2 foundations, like Spinos, Rexes, that kind of stuff. But for most dinos, is 1 foundation. So you start kind of thinking about that. Okay, so we would have that, and then a wall right here, which doesn't want to snap. There we go. Oh my god, really? Pick that up. Wall like that, and then it's going to kind of look like this. You know, the building's going to build up from that, and it's going to have a spot to put its face and look outside. And that's what it's going to look like. So then you start thinking, okay, now I have that, and the entire building is going to be that repeated times, you know, whatever, how large you're going to get your building. But I also kind of want to have my dinos be able to have like a center where I can just like get them actually inside of the building, because it's going to be multiple stories high. So I'm going to need a ramp, which is going to have to be at least 2 wide, because a 1 wide ramp doesn't even fit an Ankylo. Like, they just won't fit. So you need 2 wide at least, which is 2 more foundations. So we're already at 2 foundations for the ramps. We're at, let's say, 1 foundation for the dino to stand on, which is 3 foundations wide. And then I kind of want a ramp. I want to have something like this. Let me see if I have some ramps here. I'm going to show you what I've been thinking about. Now, obviously, it doesn't always work out. That's just the way it is. I crafted a lot of stuff. Not freaking ramps, though. Damn it. Gonna grab some of this. Just build some ramps. Yeah. Give me a few of those. And we're gonna need some... what are we gonna need? Let me check this one. I got stuff everywhere. I'm not really organized right now. Gonna need some ceilings. Is that a ceiling? Is that a slope roof? That's a slope roof. I need some ceilings. Come on. There we go. I'll just grab these stone ceilings. And then we're gonna figure out, okay, so this is where our dino sits, right? Now obviously you're gonna have a ceiling here where it stands on, but we're just gonna do it on the top here. Let's say that's a second level, right? It's above it. So I have 1 ceiling to fit the dino, 2 ceilings to fit really big dinos, I guess, but I'm just gonna park all my small dinos in the barn. So we got 1, then we got a ramp hanging from that, which is gonna connect it to probably another level of ceilings which I can walk on without hitting my head on the till, right? So now I can't really place a wall here because it's diagonal, but let's say there's another row of ceilings here. That's already 1, 2, 3 wide, plus the ramp, which is another 2. That means 5 wide to get to the center of the building. That's a lot of foundations right there. I mean, a heck of a lot of foundations. And I kind of want to have 2 sides. Actually, where I'm building, I'm not going to do 2 sides, because I'm building it along that wall right there. And having windows with dino faces sticking out on the other side, I don't think that will really add any value to the building, so we're not doing that. We're going to keep it to 1 side, which means we need 5 foundations, at least, to fit the dinos in. And to walk them up. And then multiple levels. Now the levels are probably going to have to be three walls high each. Because there's a lot of dinos that wouldn't fit underneath this. And I think 3 walls, which is over here, like this is 3 walls. It seems to fit most dinos, I guess. You know, I don't think we're going to find a lot of, you know, medium-sized dinos that don't fit underneath that. So that's good. So we got 5 wide, 3 high. Now, we know foundation width needs to be 5, at least, right? Then we think about, okay, extra space. What I usually do for extra space is I add 1 foundation to each side, which makes it 7. Oh man, calculations. It's all calculating. So we now know 7 foundations for the basic thing I'm gonna want to make. So we do know what we want. Now we actually got to build the foundations themselves, which we're gonna do today. And we're going to build it on that slope right here. It's kind of a big slope. And what I always do for every single building is I start with a square. You're going to want to do the same. Don't try to start building amazing shapes. It doesn't work like that. Your brain doesn't accept that, okay? I mean, you can have a lot of insight on how you want your building to look. But as far as measurements go, or where it's actually going to sit on the world, it's really, really hard to predict that. So what I do is I always start with a square shape. And that's what you really want to start off with. We're just going to grab a ton of foundations here, as much as we can carry, I guess. And I'm going to say 7 wide, which I think I already did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide, okay? So 6 wide fits a behemoth gate. Like, the behemoth gate is going to sit on this perfectly, which gives us not 1 foundation extra space on each side, but half a foundation. I can live with half a foundation size, and that's extra. So this is nice, which would mean this is where the dino sits, then this is where the ramp sits, this is where I walk, this is where the dinos crawl down and up, and this is extra space. It's not bad. I don't mind it. I do kind of want to... I think it's going to look weird if we just have one ramp sitting on the back like this, right? This is going to be one ramp. We're going to have a ton of space to move the dinos in, though. So I think what I'll do is I'll give the dinos 2 spots to sit on, have one ramp, one walkway for me, and then the ramp that goes up and down. I don't know if one is going to be wide enough to walk on, because if with the dinos have 2 spots of space, let's say it's a big dino, like let's say it's an Allosaur, right? Allosaurs are pretty big. It's, I think, by far one of the biggest medium dinos you can get. Let's say it's just hanging out here, and there's a whole row of them parked in a, behind each other here. We go backwards on it, we turn around, and we want to go that way. Now, it might, because it's so big, it might just hit the tail of all the other allos. But it shouldn't. In theory, it shouldn't, because they have 2 spaces to stand on. So, I think we're going to be fine with 6. Yeah. See, that's already... We have 6 foundations on the ground. And it's already a whole thought process. And it's worth it, guys. You need to do that kind of stuff. Now, we're just going to build it out. I'm just going to... Dang it. I'm just going to make a square shape. And that's what we're going to build from. And that's what's going to give our base the shape, or the barn the shape that we want it. So we're going to go, like, kind of build out like this. We're just... Why do you... There you go. And since this is S plus building, we can just snap these to each other. It's the best thing ever. I mean, this is by far the best thing ever. I think I built this before to test it out, so I could do it a little bit quicker with you guys. I think I went 18 foundations out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This is how far I went out. And what I kind of figured is, if I want to build anything else on this side, we're still going to have room to maneuver the dinos past the building itself. Plenty of space. And I kind of wanted to go that way, because I don't want to end up with like an empty spot right here. So this is where I build out from. I'm just gonna close this off. We make sure it's 6 wide again. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're gonna build from up to down, like we did on the other side. We're just gonna connect it all together. So now this is the easy part. Obviously, like, we just kind of build foundations. We get ourselves a square shape that we can build out of, and it looks like crap. I guarantee you this is gonna look like crap, but that's the magic of building in ARK, especially with S+. It doesn't have to look crap for the rest of your life. You can add stuff, yeah, this is a basic shape, it doesn't get more basic than this. It's just as wide as a behemoth gate, and it kind of runs down the hill, and it's yeah, it doesn't have a lot of shape to it, but that's fine. Now, I want to make sure that the entire building, and this is aesthetic, this is a very important thing if you want to go aesthetic like the house. The house is everything aesthetically on the same level. So like the wood row that goes over here follows the entire building no matter where it goes, right? And then it goes over in that one. And the foundations have the same thing, but I was thinking for the barn, I want to set it apart from the house. So I actually go with stone foundations, wooden walls, and probably a row of stone, or like stone sides or something, like big pillars on the sides made out of stone, something like that. So I kind of turned the house around as far as the details go. Now, this is going to look like crap, so what we're going to do is we're going to make the foundation of the house be equally as high wherever we go. So basically we're just going to stack them together until, it's one straight square shape. That's basically what we're going to do. So I'm going to fill this all in. Like, I'm going to just fill this up with foundations. It's going to cost me a ton of foundations. And I'll bring you guys right back for the second part of this build. Yeah, and we're back, guys. Lay your eyes upon the Cube of Destiny. It's halfway stuck into the ground. No one knows what it is or where it came from. But it's here. And it's ugly. Which is fine. It's totally fine. It's going to be fine. It's made entirely out of S+ stone foundations. And you can stack these guys on top of each other. It's something it does. It's just kind of buggy. So you end up with dangerous holes, which I never really noticed because I never ever built this high. I've never done that before. It's quite a thing. So yeah, this is a solid block. There's no walls, nothing. It's just a solid block, and it looks like crap. But we're gonna fix it, because when I was building this and I figured out that I couldn't fill up these 3 holes that we have here, for some reason, I have no idea why, but they just won't. Yeah, I mean, I gotta figure something out, right? Now, I am lucky enough that these 3 holes, which are the only holes, are on this side, because we're talking about going that way, right? So what I'm thinking is, why don't we use this to our advantage? Because that's what building is all about. We're going to use it to our advantage and make some kind of basement in this place. Since we have, I didn't even expect it to be this high. It's crazy high. We could fit an entire basement down there. So I'm doing that. We're going to do that. Obviously not this episode, but we will definitely do it, you know, once we start doing all the finishing up on the base, which will probably be either next episode or the episode after that. And it's going to be amazing. I've never ever built something like that before, like a basement out inside of these foundations, but I think it's going to be cool. But I do want to stay on point for this episode. I want to talk about making your cube not a cube. I guess that's the whole point of this video, right? So you guys always ask me, oh, Chicken, you got like crazy cool shapes going on, you know. My houses are always cubes. Well, how I do it is I make that's the base of my house, and I do it everywhere. That one had the same thing going on. And then you start adding stuff. Now let's say this is a house, right? Let's just imagine this is just one foundation high. What you want to do is you want to look at it and you're like, okay, we have a front. You count the foundations, 1, 2, 3. It's kind of hard with the shadow on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, I forgot about that. It's 6 wide, so we need a dinosaur gate in the middle, which is 2 wide. 1, 2. So we don't do anything there, but we could use 2 of these side foundations like this, and we could create something like that. And you would have, you know, kind of a sticking out kind of deal. I don't know what to call it. I really don't. And I have those actually on that house. I have 2 of these parts sticking out. And obviously this was pre-planned, but it's the same idea. You can make them bigger, smaller, whatever you want. And you just start adding to the house. You could even do something like another floor that sticks out above this, and it's going to be floating either just above us, or you're going to extend it out a little further and put some pillars underneath it, and that's going to kind of make it look modern. You know, there's all kinds of things. Just add them. Just keep adding to the house, and if it looks like crap, demolish it or pick it up with your demo gun. You know, most people, I guess, are using S Plus these days, which is great because, you know, you got a demo gun and you can just try out millions of options without having to waste all your materials. Anyways, my idea is, because we have this big dead space here, I want to kind of try and see if we can work towards this way. Now, I was thinking, if this is going to be some kind of basement in there, right? We're going to actually, instead of making this thing go around the corner and staying that high, we're going to go around the corner and make it low again. You know, it's going to grow a little bit taller over here, but it should, you know, it should stay relatively low. Problem is, these triangle foundations, they don't like corners. That's what I gotta say about them. See, they don't add up. That's because the guy made a weird angle on them, I guess. Yeah, that's a problem. Now, we could obviously just do this. We could just start adding straight foundations here. But eventually the straight foundations will turn into a point shape, and they will come together, and that's the end of that. So what else could we do? Maybe not make the hallway in a quarter, but make the hallway kind of stick out somewhere over here, maybe. I mean, that would be kind of cool. We have a ramp right here, which is going to be very, very high up in the air, when you know, when we're on this side. So basically we do have the room to just add a hallway here. Now, how big does that hallway need to be? That's the real question. We got to think about the dinosaurs. There's tons of different sizes and shapes, but mostly there is one figure you want to stick to, and that is 2 foundations wide, at least, to fit a dino. This looks wide enough to me. It does. I think a dino could easily pass through a hallway that is this wide. Yeah, it's going to be fine. It's 2 foundations, it's fine. Now, if we go around this corner, we'll end up hitting the wall right there, right here between these two. That's actually not bad. It's kind of far away from the gate, but also kind of close to it, which is cool, because we can maybe do some aesthetic stuff with that. So I'm just going to keep going. I almost fell to my death. I'm going to build these underneath here so they, they actually keep looking good. We're stuck. There we go. We're just going to keep building this out, basically. I'm going to stack these together again so we keep this level of height, which is just the most terrible thing ever, because they don't snap very well. As you can see, this is worthless. And that's because I think there needs to be a foundation like underneath that. There we go. I did it. I did it. No more complaining. Now we got to get up there. There we go. Stack those. And no, not over here. Over there. Yeah, that one needs one too, but there you go. And we got kind of a hallway deal going on. I think it's kind of cool. We may just make this special looking. Like, let's say these 2 buildings are going to be connected, right? And we'll make this hallway maybe something like out of glass, or something that looks different and connects the 2 together. I think that would be really, really cool. But first we have to build it, of course, so I'm just going to go ahead and just add these guys to them. Do it a little bit faster. Like that. We're just going to build over these rocks. Oh, that one isn't snapping. Neither is that. This is the problem I've been fighting for the past few hours, guys, with the straight foundations. It's the most terrible thing ever. There's a little chance you can bug them in to snap, but most of them will just ignore you until you build another row next to it, and then stack that up, and then you can finally snap that one guy in, and then remove the other one again. It's horrible. We just place this guy underneath. There we go. Get back up. Ooh. Damn it! There we go. See, it works now because it's actually in the ground. That's good stuff. And it's not going to be a very long hallway. I just noticed, because dang it, will you please press Q? Press Q. There we go. Because I noticed we're already kind of halfway, and we still need to build a building here. So what if we attach that building right here, because we have a actual straight piece right here, which is the best thing we can wish for, and then just build that way. And it's going to be another, like, attached barn. I think it's cool. I'm going to go ahead and build that, guys. Bring you right back in a sec, and you can see the end result there. Alrighty, guys, and we're back. Now, I finished up the entire corner, and I added a few things to the side here. I think this is going to look pretty neat, in my head it does at least. We're going to be adding these pillars at the sides of the building, and I'll either put lights in between them in different colors, or I'll put them in front of the pillars. I'm not sure yet. The pillars themselves are going to have a dino head sticking out. So this is like kind of a parking spot. That's how you should see it. Obviously, this makes it so we have an extra spare block of room inside. Because, like I said, we are going with 6 wide. This basically makes it 7 wide, which is going to give us some extra walking space. And I think it, in the end, it will be better to have that extra little bit of space. Now, as far as this corner goes, I decided to go with an entrance at the bottom because my house is over there. My house is over there, right? And that's where I'll be coming from most of the time. Like, let's say 99% of the time. So I need a door on this side, just for humans. I'm just going to put a dino gate in there, make a nice looking entrance. So that guy is in there. It's all foundation work, guys. And these are going to be extended all the way to the front. but they're not going to be on this side. This side is still going to be the closed off bit that I was talking about because, well, you know, aesthetically wise, you're not going to see it anyways, and as far as the foundation counting went, it's still just a better option, just to close it off. That's just how it's going to be. Right, so we're going to have the basement here. We're going to like dig this out with the demo gun when we actually start, you know, making the interior of the thing. And then we come down here, and it's going to feature the tunnel that I was on about. Oh, that's going to hurt. There we go. So this is going to be like some kind of hole that leads to the basement. In the basement will be a staircase to the top level, and this is a little hallway. It's probably going to be made out of glass or something similar. Maybe even like a roof floating above some railings, something like that. And we're gonna enter this space. Now I was thinking about it. It's not a big space. It's kind of small. I worked my way all the way to the ground just to see how that looked. It's too small to feature some kind of garden because I saw these cool looking bamboo things, and I was like, oh, maybe we can make like a little garden in which we can have some teams walking around and stuff. It's just too small. There's no way. It's too small for it. So I kind of just went with the same deal as up there. The only thing is, this is going to be probably like a breeding chamber / hatchery. So we'll just, you know, we'll get a couple of dinos down here, have them mate with each other, and then probably have like an air conditioning system in the back here with some thatch flooring for the eggs, and we're gonna hatch some babies in here. I think it's gonna be pretty awesome. So yeah, this episode basically is all about getting your foundations right, and usually I do this kind of stuff without you guys, and I felt like I should explain it at least once, right? So yeah, this is the main setup, and now the cool thing is when we actually build the barn itself, you guys are going to see how important it is to have all those foundations in place. Obviously, in certain scenarios, you will add some extra foundations. If you're like, oh man, that looks bad, or you know, it would look a lot better if I add a little bit to this spot. Obviously, you can do that afterwards, but you need a main shape, and this is it. This is it. I think especially like that whole deal we got going on here is really cool looking, because that shape with the hallway going into the hatchery, it looks kind of neat. It really does. It has a weird shape to it, and we'll probably make it all out of glass, like we can see inside of the basement when we're walking out there. I think it's going to be really cool. But for this episode, I think we've done more than enough, and I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up for me. I would really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you want to see more of ARK and me playing it, don't forget to subscribe either. But for now, until next time, bye!